Hi, so let's take a look at what they actually did to Chitose in this update. Just to give you a quick idea first, they kinda killed dash combo by buffing everything else to the point where it's now comparable or even better. And once you look at the changes, it becomes pretty clear why. So starting with the part that wasn't really mentioned in the global patch notes, Cascades of Rune, Serpent in Tide, and Flowing Circle, or basically her skill build, all got pretty significant multiplier buffs. And on top of that, Returning Tide also had its activation requirement change, so now it's much more reliable. And all of these changes make her skill build a lot stronger and viable now. Then if you take a look at her auto attack side, they buffed her AA1 to AA5 by around 25%, but left AA6 completely untouched, which is the core of her dash combo. Serpent's Glide also got around 25% buff, and then Tremble and Fall now gives a huge 150% aqua damage bonus, but that doesn't apply to her AA6 either. So again, the main part of her dash combo doesn't really benefit from any of this. And then there's Dance of Elegance. Now it gives aqua damage and can stack up to around 250%, which is insanely good. But the problem is, it resets every time she uses AA6. So if you are playing the usual dash combo, you basically only get one stack of this buff most of the time. And if you actually want to get full stacks, you have to play her with full auto instead. For other main skills, it now gives an additional 33% attack buff with basically 100% uptime due to the change in its activation requirement. So when you put all of this together, if you are still playing her the usual way with the dash combo, you are basically only getting a permanent 33% attack buff plus a small aqua damage bonus from Dance of Elegance, and that's about it. Meanwhile, most of these buffs are actually pushing her toward a full auto play style, so in practice, there's not much reason to play her with the dash combo anymore. Now, whether that's a good thing or not really depends on what you value. Some people will say it removes the fun part of the character. Others will say it's better because you don't have to do the dash combo anymore. Personally, I don't like this change. I think her dash playstyle actually had a lot more depth than people give it credit for, as there is another level of optimization if you manage to push it to the limit, where her dodge cooldown can't even keep up with your speed anymore. Similar to Freesia DPS, Mark teams, or some other teams that look very simple on surface but actually had a lot more going on. But at the end of the day, for most players, this part mostly comes down to personal preference, so it's not my place to judge. Now in terms of her DPS, all these changes mean her damage ceiling doesn't really increase that much, and honestly that is completely fine, because the real issue isn't Chitose herself. The bigger problem is that Aqua right now doesn't have strong enough support, as I already mentioned in the calculation part of this video. If you are interested, you can check that out. But long story short, I modified Teresa to be more comparable to other 4-star supports by changing only two things. First, adding a team buff to her support skill since she currently doesn't have one. And second, adding aqua damage taken to one of her potentials similar to other supports. And that alone is enough to push Chitose's and the whole team's damage up to the same level as Brave Nasuka. This balance change also reinforced that point. They avoid touching her dash combo to keep her ceiling in check and buff everything else instead, because if they push her ceiling further and made her strong with the current support, she would become broken once proper support gets released. So for now, we just have to deal with it. Now let's talk a bit about her skill build specifically. I actually got similar scores even without skill damage on emblems, but that's mostly because Boss Blitz favors skill damage right now. So for a proper comparison in a neutral environment, I will need a few more days to test and calculate everything. Right now, I'm not confident enough to recommend my version of skill build without solid data to back it up, unlike the AA build, which is my bread and butter. So yeah, that's my take on Chitose after the update. Before you go, I do want to ask one thing. With the update and recent changes to Ascension, how many pots are you usually get per run? Please let me know in the comment. It will give me a better idea of what people are actually getting right now and help a lot with future guides. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.